Hey there, I'm Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. Today I'm going to be bringing to you guys my January 2019 wrap-up, and basically I read 22 books this month. How did that happen? I really don't know. I really don't know. I think it might have had to do with the fact that there was Term Infinity and Beyond and the biannual bibliothon, and I was like, no, I'm gonna smash these two readathons, and apparently I did. So what I'm gonna do so that this video isn't too long is I'm gonna split it into two, so I'll do the first, I think either 8 or 9 now, and then in the next video I will do the others. I'm also not going to include the books that I read for the biannual bibliothon because I've already done a wrap up for those, and I'll leave that in the link down below. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get started. So the first book that I've just dripped really hot coffee down myself. It's quite sore. So the first book that I read this year was Volume 2 of One Punch Man by Yusuke Murata. Obviously I won't spoil anything. This continues where the first one left off, and there's a lot more fighting and ridiculousness and parody, and if you like anime and superhero parody, just please check this manga out, it's really cool. Then I did a reread of Illuminate by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, and I loved it just as much as I loved it the first time. It was interesting because this time I decided to listen to the audiobook rather than reading the physical book, because that's what I did last time, and I really wanted to see how it translated, because if you know anything about how Illuminate's set out, there's a lot of documents and images and things like that, and I was thinking, well, how is it going to work on an audiobook? But honestly, the cast for it were just amazing. I really appreciated it, and I really liked how the audiobook went. I got really into it again, and I was like, yes, now I can read the second one, just get on with it. But of course Gemini wasn't on my TBR until later on in the month, so I actually didn't get to finish that. When I started it, I'm like 200 pages in, so I got to start it. But yeah, I didn't get any further with that. And after that we have The Martian by Andy Weir. Don't know anything about this book. It's about a guy who gets stranded on Mars, and NASA and, you know, the world and himself have to find a way where he could survive and get back to Earth. So last Term Infinity and Beyond, I had total FOMO about this because everyone was talking about it, everyone had read it, and everyone said it was great. And this time I read it and I was not disappointed. I love this book. This book is great. Why did I not pick this up? Like, it's funny, it's investing. Honestly, I figured the main character could find his way out of anything because that guy was so clever, and I appreciated the science behind this and how logically everything was thought out, even if some of the things that he did were mental. I really liked the writing style as well, and I think it had the perfect perspective of Mark Watney's voice, as well as everyone down on Earth who was trying to get him off of Mars. The next book that I read was Predator's Gold by Philip Reeve. This is the second book in the Mortal Engines series, and yeah, I liked this one more than I liked the first one, I think. As this is the second book, I won't tell you too much about the plot. However, it follows these traction cities in the snow. Now, traction cities are cities that have evolved to move, basically, and these traction cities in the snow have things like skis and like treads, and I just thought it was really cool, and I liked that sort of thing. Plus there's a plague in this one, and I like a good plague book, apparently. Found this out about myself. I thought that the different traction cities that we encountered were more interesting, and the characters that were in it were, you know, less terrible. A little tiny bit more developed. Not that much though. But then again, this is kind of a middle gradey type book, and I'm not going to hold that too much against it. I found the world building interesting, and I like all the cities, so, you know, that's good. Next up we have Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan, Pia Guerra, and Jose Marzan Jr. This graphic novel features a world that's just like our own, except in one instant, all the men die, apart from this main guy here and his male monkey, but everything else with a Y chromosome dies, and it kind of just follows this guy as he's trying to figure out where he needs to go. He wants to go find his girlfriend, who's on the other side of the world, and yeah, it was interesting. I quite liked it. I basically figured out that that would suck if all the men died, but you know, I think it's interesting to see the reactions of the women. Some of them like, oh my god, we lost all the men, what are we gonna do now? Some of them are just getting on with things, and then some of them are like, yeah, fuck man, let me burn my boob off. I'd rather not do that. I'm fine. I'm fine. So yeah, I think I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars because I'm interested in seeing where it goes, but I'm not like massively blown away with it. The next book that I read, however, I was blown away with, and that is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is obviously volume 1, I've never picked up Saga before, and I'm so glad I did. I got so invested in this, and it was cute and weird, and do you know what? I love all the side characters, like Lion Cat. I want a lion cat. I just really want to carry on with it. I feel like it's already setting up to be this amazing adventure, and I just kind of want to see where it goes. Like, everyone's telling me this is such a ride, and I'm like, okay, I want to get on it. Strap me in. Let's go. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to where this one's going. And the last book that I want to talk about in the first part of this wrap-up is Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This book continues where Side left off. Now let me start this off by saying I did not know that this was a trilogy. I thought it was a duology. So I'm getting near to the end of this book, and I am shook. I was at work, I was listening to it as well as reading it at times, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, there's like an hour left, and shit's hitting the fan, and I'm like, I mean, speechless. I wasn't expecting any of that to happen, but like, I expected it to wrap up in that book, so obviously I had very different expectations to the ones that I would have, knowing that there was a finale book still to be had. So I was expecting things to all be wrapped up, and then the way that it ended just shocked me. So I was very confused, and I liked it, though. I liked the ending, I liked this book, I liked the new main character that was introduced. This whole storyline was great, and you know, I really liked it. I really liked where this book went, and I really, really want to read the next one as soon as it comes out. So those are the first few books that I read in January. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in part 2. Bye!